MCOM EAFM previous compulsory paper 4th Indian financial system. In today's lecture we are going to discuss about the Indian financial system. We will have a small introduction of what is Indian financial system, definition of financial system, evolution of financial system in India. So let's begin. Now, for the understanding of Indian financial system, first we should know about that what is Indian financial system. Every country has a financial system of its own that serves as backbone of its entire development. A financial system is a set of institutional arrangements through which financial surpluses in the economy is mobilized from surplus units and transferred to deficit spenders, meaning thereby we have financial surplus and we want to use that surplus for the development of economy. Now let's have a look on definition. Financial system may be defined as a set of institutions, instruments and market which foster saving and channels them to their most efficient use. The system consists of individuals known as savers, intermediaries, markets and users of savings. On the basis of above definition of financial system, it can be concluded that Indian financial system is a system which includes financial assets such as currency, bank deposits, life insurance policies, unit shares and other kinds of deposits, etc. Financial market such as money market and capital market, and financial intermediaries or financial institutes such as banks and non-banking financial institutions. Now have a look on evolution of financial system in India. Period 1 up to 1968. India has a long history of financial intermediation. The first bank in India to be set up on modern lines was in 1770 by an agency house. The earliest but short-lived attempt to establish a central bank was in 1773. India was also a forerunner in terms of development of financial markets. The Bombay Stock Exchange was functional as early as 1870. The first life insurance company in the country, Oriental Life Insurance Company, had been established as far back in 1818, and the first general, that is non-life insurance company, was set up in 1850. By independence, India had a fairly well-developed commercial banking system in existence. In 1951, there were 566 private commercial banks in India with 4,151 branches, mostly confined to larger towns and cities. Savings in the form of bank deposits accounted for less than of 1% of national income. The Reserve Bank of India was originally established in 1935, which is the central bank of the country. After independence, the Reserve Bank of India became a state-owned institution from January 1st, 1949, just because it was nationalized. It was only in this year that the Banking Regulation Act was enacted to provide a framework for regulation and supervision of commercial banking activity. However, despite the widespread development of banking system, the Indian financial system was characterized by lack of depth at the time of independence. Organized credit institutions had a negligible presence in rural India. After independence, the country's immediate need was to mobilize savings in order to raise the investment rate. At the beginning of planning in 1951, the Indian economy operated at relatively low levels of savings and investment. The first plan observed that desirable rate of growth in output could be achieved only if investment could be stepped up substantially. The planning strategy was based on the concept of mixed economy, where both public and private sectors had to play a role with regard to investment activity and in mobilization of resources. The experience during the planning period suggested that institution building and development of financial system was propelled by the vision of the country's planners after independence. The vision was to ensure that sectoral needs of credit to agriculture and industry were met in an organized manner. The RBI was vested with a major responsibility of developing the institutional infrastructure in the financial system. The commercial banking was expanded to take care of the general banking needs of accepting deposits and extending short-term working capital to industry. Further, State Bank of India was given the responsibility to meet the credit needs of the cooperative sector. Development finance institutions like state finance corporations were also established by RBI to cater the long-term financing needs of industry at national level. The Unit Trust of India came into existence in 1964 to provide a channel for retail investors for participating in the capital market. Recognizing the significance of export, an Export Risk Insurance Corporation was set up in July 1957, which was later converted into ECGC, Export Credit and Guarantee Corporation, in January 1964. The Deposit Insurance Corporation was set up in 1962. In 1969, the average population per bank office declined from 1,32,700 in 1950 to 64,000, but there was a distinct increase in the share of credit to industry from 34% in 1951 to 67.5% in 1968. Agricultural sector got a little over 2% to total bank credit. Phase 2 period from 1969 to 1990, which is also known as the pre-economic reform years before the globalization. In this period, the scheme of social control over banks that envisaged organizational and legislative changes was initiated by the government with a view to bring about a wider diffusion of banking facilities and changes in the pattern of bank lending. In July 1969, 14 largest commercial banks were nationalized with the purpose of rapid branch expansion, channeling of credit according to planned priorities, and also to mop up potential savings and meet the credit gaps in the agriculture and small scale industries. In April 1980, 6 more private sector banks were nationalized. for providing agricultural credit, RRBs, regional rural banks, were set up in 1975. By the end of 1975, three separate institutional arrangements, commercial banks, cooperative banks, and RRBs, known as multi-agency approach for providing credit in the rural areas, emerged. Establishment of National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, which is popularly known as NABARD, in 1982 was an important landmark in the history of cooperative credit was established. Since 1980, the other institutions included in development financial institutions, DFIs, apart from NABARD, catering to the agricultural sector, the Export-Import, Exim Bank of India, catering to export finance, Small Industries Development Bank of India, SIDBI, catering to the credit needs of small industries, and National Housing Bank, NHA, catering to housing finance. More recently, the Infrastructure Development Finance Company, IDFC, came into being in 1997 to promote investment of the private sector in infrastructure. There were attempts to develop the capital market during the 1980s by increasing participants and instruments, improving transparency, reducing transaction costs, and ensuring safety in settlement procedures. As the stock market developed, efforts were diverted towards providing greater transparency and investors' protection. Several specialized institutions, such as credit rating agencies, took shape during this period. The most important development was the setting up of Securities and Exchange Board of India in 1988. The government securities market was mainly a captive market dictated by the borrowing needs of the government. In order to facilitate large borrowing requirements of the government, interest rates on government securities were artificially pegged at low levels, unrelated to market conditions. The dominance of the public sector and state ownership persisted during the 1980s. The financial system was shaped and architectured to meet the objectives of the government enunciated through the plans. Hence, both the liabilities and asset sides of the balance sheets of the financial institutions were controlled. Phase 3rd, 1991 and after the reform years. Since 1991, the Indian financial system has undergone radical transformation. Reforms have altered the organizational structure, ownership pattern, and domain of operations of banks, DFIs, and non-banking financial companies. The main thrust of reforms in the financial sector was the creation of efficient and stable financial institutions and market. Reforms in the banking and non-banking sectors focused on creating a deregulated environment, strengthening, ensuring the prudential norms and the supervisory system, changing the ownership pattern and increasing competition. Competition has been infused into the financial system by licensing new private banks since 1993. Foreign banks have also been given more liberal entry. New private sector banks constituted 11% of the assets and 10% of the net profits of scheduled commercial banks except regional rural banks as at end March 2003. The respective shares of foreign banks was 6.9% and 10.7% respectively in February 2002. The government announced guidelines for foreign direct investment (FDI) in the banking sector up to a maximum of 49%, since raised to 74% in 2004. So this was about the Indian financial system and evolution of financial system in India.